Let's go! Not over.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Indie Comics Relay. I'm your host, Keith Gleason, creator of the Mighty Mascots. And with me... Oh, wait a second. Where's Johnny tonight?
Not Johnny.
This is my wife, Amy Gleason, which you see in the chat a lot. Johnny could not be with us here tonight. I don't know, Amy, did I tell you why Johnny couldn't be here tonight?
No, you didn't. It was a little last minute for me. So no, you didn't tell me.
Okay.
Where's Johnny?
So I'm sure you might have had to deal with this at your job at some point, but like Johnny's work sprung on him like on Monday that they're having a Christmas party on Wednesday night.
Oh.
So I I had set up everything for Wednesday, and then Johnny said, well, could we do Tuesday? And and tonight's guest, Dan and his crew, I think Dan had to work, so we couldn't set it up. So I was like, sorry, Johnny, I gotta go live on Wednesday, because Thursday we're all going to see Spider-Man. So,
yep.
It was just, I think this is the second time in the show history that Johnny couldn't make it, which is,
Yeah, I mean, he's always here. So,
but I mean, it's understandable. I don't know about you, but this week has been unbelievably crazy. There's been like stuff going on every night. Like it's
been nuts. Yeah, it has. And well, that's the whole Christmas season. It's, niece and nephews both have separate Christmas concerts, and, sorry to our nephew, but Spider-Man, it's a middle school concert.
Yeah, we're horrible.
I know, we're awful, but it is middle school. So, the music quality improves the older they get. So,
So, yes.
Next year
so you're just going to wait and see them when they're good.
Right.
It's amazing.
And work has just been crazy too. So
yeah,
work is going nuts because it's the end of the quarter.
Oh,
I don't know about Johnny, but I've got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, everybody tries to get everything like jammed in. Yeah, I know that for a fact. Even at my job, that's happening. But for everybody that doesn't know, my wife Amy is actually a very talented artist as well. So and she's subbed in before. She's in the chats a lot, so everybody knows her. She's more, would you say like a classical artist? Like you do painting, you do sculpting?
Yeah, I do painting, sculpting. I do a lot of pop art and, like pop inspired things. But
yeah, Well, and your art often shows up on the Alterna auctions that happen every month because you do draw a lot of Mighty Mascots inspired artwork, which is awesome, which I love to see. I mean, like you've done a lot digitally too, which I would love to capture those as like a print at some point,
I know. I do think, no, I don't think I have any of them. I have a T Public store. So I have some of my artwork on my T Public store, but I should probably put some Mascots artwork on t-shirts there too.
Yeah, no, definitely definitely something to think about as, in the new year. Maybe it's a good goal to get, especially like since I believe the Alterna auctions are just going to keep happening every month, so it'd be nice to just have some original pieces like by me and you for the auction, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take a minute and just say hello to the chat tonight, see who's here with us. So we got Tate with us. How's it going, buddy? Ara's always there. Hey man, good to
Hi,
see you,
Ara.
buddy. Good to see you, man. Glad you're here with us. Roland, your boy, what's going on, man? Good to see you tonight. We say, hey, hello, Roland. Hello, Any Comics Relay. Surrounded by Death. Yeah, no, no Johnny tonight, unfortunately. But I'll see him tomorrow. He got us all tickets for Spider-Man, so we'll be checking that out tomorrow. I hope it's good. I've been kind of getting away from the Marvel stuff recently, just because it's just been so insufferable, I should say. You know, but I have hope since this Spider-Man movie is put out by Sony that it'll be pretty fun. You know, it looks like it's going to be fun. You know, let me see.
I think Johnny did mention that he's been doing fulfillment for the Surrounded by Death campaign. So for a little Surrounded by Death update, he's in the middle of doing some of that.
Oh, nice. WJ said, any comic creators in the chat have Instagram? Yeah, I guess if there's any comic creators in the chat, definitely post your Instagram links in there. WJ may be interested in following you. If you're interested in following me, it's at Mighty Mascots, I believe, and then yours is at Amy's Bird's House, right?
Yep.
Roland say here, I wouldn't know. Been here since the start, but haven't seen them all. I don't know what that's a reference to. I don't know. North Freeze with us. Hey, buddy. How's it going? Hail,
Hi,
Keith, Amy, and the mighty chat. Thanks, buddy. He also said evening. Ara, Jalel. Ara, I got to ask you how do you say your last name. Is it Jalelnian?
It's Jelinin.
Jelinin. Okay. How
Yeah.
And then sell them. Oh, that's a good idea. Sell them as an NFT. Yeah. That might be something to look into. Amy's a great artist. I have a box of bear by her.
Oh,
Alterna auctions rule. Thanks, man. Yeah, I remember you picking that up. That's you got the cover, I believe, the sketch cover, right? I posted in the chat. I believe that's the one you got.
I have to say, Boxer Bear is my favorite because, I mean, Keith, you know, I love animals. I like to draw animals and paint animals. So I think Boxer Bear is one of my favorite mascots to draw.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, and Roland said about Johnny missing only twice. Yeah, that's good, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he said pronounced Hitchcock. Oh, I didn't know that. That must be you know, like Lithuanian or something, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so before we bring in tonight's guests, we have 3 of them, which is great. I just wanted to show off the Alterna campaign tonight real quick. You know, this is going to be believe the last chance to back this campaign. I know Pete got the books in last week, and I think he's already starting to fulfill. I think he said he has about the latest in the chat. He had about 100 orders out the door today. So this is going to be closing soon. So if you're looking to get these books, I would say get them here because you get the two trading cards that aren't going to be available on the website. So, you know, get that right now to start your collection, you know, because people are going to be looking for those once these other campaigns start getting rolling, you know.
And then my hat. I got my hat and my sketch card from the Alterna.
Oh, you did?
Campaign.
Oh, great. I didn't even know you ordered that.
That's awesome. Did,
yeah. And this is where you can get the first part of the 3-part Mighty Mascots story starting in issue 4. So yeah, check it out. Also, the winter campaign is going live on the 21st. And the signups are on Indiegogo right now. So you can sign up and get, I believe you get a foil card if you sign up early. So, all right, let me take that off the chat there. And so tonight's guest, so I've only met one of these dudes. He actually introduced himself to me at San Diego Special Edition. I was aware of him, but I never we never talked or anything really. So it was nice to meet him and talk to him for a few minutes. Just a good dude. And I really like his campaign that he's got going on. And I'm looking forward to meeting the other guys that are with him here tonight too. So without further ado, let's bring in, say hello to Dan Plegel. Hey, Dan, good to see you again, man.
Yes.
And we got Matt Barr. Is that how you say it? Barr? Matt?
Yeah, Barr.
Barr.
It's
okay.
Barr.
Awesome. And then also Billy Baxco. Baxco? Is that how you say it, Bill?
The C is silent. You can just say Basco.
Basco. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. So I usually, when I interview creators for the first time, I always love to find out the origin of the creators. Like what was the comic or TV show or cartoon that you saw when you were a kid that kind of put you on the path to wanting to become a creator? So I would say let's go around the room, maybe starting with Dan. And, is there something that you can point to that kind of put you on this path, Dan?
I guess so. It seems not. It doesn't. I don't know if you could connect the dots very easily.
Okay,
but
I'm looking forward to.
I will say, early Chuck Jones, Tom and Jerry cartoons.
Okay.
So the weird stuff that had the weird soundtracks where were sounded like it was made in France or something.
Okay.
If that makes
I think
sense.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Those were the really good ones, like the ones in like the not the ones I'm saying, are those the ones that were like in the 70s? Not when they were Friends, right? It was like before that.
I don't think they were Friends yet, or they were Friends in these ones. I just remember that the audio of the characters, they sounded like they were coming from underwater or something.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Were really weird.
I'm a fan of the old Tom and Jerry's myself. I often wear a T-shirt that actually Amy bought me of Uncle Picos. Remember the
Hold it on that heated, right?
Yeah.
Crambo.
Yes.
Crambo.
Yeah, I love that character. It's so funny.
Dang it, nephew! Broke me a guitar string again. I gotta go make
my guitar string.
Guitar.
Love that. So that's awesome. That's a great one. So that kind of were you more of a fan of like animation and then kind of found comic books, or?
See, this the thing is I can't remember. I remember I was probably around 7 or 8 when I first got my first comic.
Okay.
I think that I remember distinctly and went, oh, I want this thing. I might have had comics before that, but I can't really remember. And it's like animation goes back as far as I can remember for the most part. So
right. Same with
I would
me.
say
like
that,
I started with cartoons. Like my gateway was cartoons, and then I found like the tie-in comics. Like I remember getting like the Transformers comic that Marvel put out, and the G.I. Joe and that kind of thing. And then I found the superhero stuff after that,
Yeah. And I definitely found Tom and Jerry before G.I. Joe existed, because G.I. Joe was kind of like my thing as a kid.
Well, they had Gold Key, like Tom and Jerry comics. Did you have any of those? Like I remember.
No, I didn't have any of those.
Okay.
But I remember that when I was really little, because I was in kindergarten, so I was like 4 or 5. I wished that there was Tom and Jerry toys, but they didn't have anything like that back then.
Yeah, no, they didn't really have. Merchandise was non-existent for Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, so what I did was I made little paper doll versions of Tom and Jerry, and I built like sets and all kinds of stuff so that I could move them around on, and that was like kind of like
create your own cartoon, kind of like almost like color forms or something. Yeah, that's great.
Color forms.
That's great. Oh, what is
Gumby.
Billy showing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Gumby, was that yours, Billy? Was that was that your gateway?
Well, I mean, when I think about gateway, where like I like took it more like I was like, this is what I want to do, because I mean, there's a lot of cartoons that obviously that I loved super young, that pre 10 years old, 6, 7, 8 years old. But I would say the thing that was like my gateway, where I was just like, this is like the job I need to be involved in, like whatever this is.
Yeah.
Was probably The Legend of Zelda.
Oh, really?
Like, I got so deep into that, like not just the video game, but like Nintendo Power magazine
Okay.
had monthly comics in it. That was
I
like
think I remember
it was
that,
like
yeah.
8 pages. You can get it as a collected edition now.
Okay.
It was actually drawn by like one of the proteges of the dude that like made Speed Racer and
Oh, really?
Astro Boy and stuff. It's a really great comic. And like, and I remember even just I would sit there and look at the instruction booklet because I loved like all the art that was like of that like world. And I was like, I want to be involved in like drawing this kind of stuff and
That's
like
awesome.
making these kind of worlds. Like I was like really, and then like after that, like other properties like Metroid and stuff like that. I was just like, oh, like I was always drawing stuff from like Legend of Zelda or Metroid.
I actually
like,
love that
constantly.
because like that's kind of a unique like a unique way to get into comics. Like like I didn't even think like people would find their way from something like that, which is really, that's cool. I'll have to look those old Zelda comics up. They sound pretty cool. I remember being into the 8-bit game, and then that was about it for me. And then I never really got it. And then Zelda just got so overcomplicated for me. All the games that came out after, and it was just like couldn't even keep up with it. And same, isn't it like the Final Fantasy games are like that too? They're kind of like way, like unless you're in the know,
Give me like 2 seconds.
Yeah, sure. And
I still
guess
have my Legend of Zelda gold cartridge in the box.
I remember that. Yeah. It must be worth some money, right? Is that worth some money, Dan?
It might be.
Yeah,
I'm not
saying because that was a big deal back then. Yeah, let me bring Billy up here really quick. All right, yeah, page through that, Billy. Let me see some of the artwork in there.
By just so you can see his name. It's
was that Shotaro
Ishinomori?
Okay. I didn't even want to attempt that. But let me take a
I mean, like opens up with like,
yeah, look at that. That's
crazy.
awesome. So now this is the collected version of all those comics.
Yeah, that were in actually,
oh wow,
Nintendo Power at the time. People say manga's not supposed to be color, but like this is like the first
like
manga I ever saw.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, I mean, it's a really cool way to kind of discover comics. I wonder if anyone else kind of got into comics this way. Wow, look at that.
Wow, that's pretty dope.
That is pretty dope. I was like, wow. And this was all in the Nintendo Power magazine, huh?
Yeah. They only did like 8. They did like 8 pages a month. Yeah. And I knew I was like subscribed for like 2 years to like
just to read the comic.
Yeah.
Screw the game. Just to read the comic. That's awesome.
Well, because I figured people like, I mean, before they got turned into video games, in my head, I'm like, people had to like draw these things, and like it was like back when instruction booklets were still really a big thing, So it was like they always had the art that was in, to kind of help the kids' imagination of like this is like what these characters look like, more realized than the little 8-bit version you're seeing on your screen,
Right. Yeah. So, that's great. It's like that's a cool. Yeah, like you said, it's kind of like a lost art form now because no one's like kid opens the game now. No one cares about the instructions. They go right into it,
Or you can just like Google the maps. I remember as a kid, we used to have graph paper for Zelda, and we would have like sleepovers, and we would sit there with a graph paper.
Yes.
And map out like where different stuff was, and be like, okay, you do this area at your house. You do this area, and then Friday we'll all get together and we'll all like
compare notes.
We'll all like Scotch tape our map together, and then I'll help you get the bow, and I'll help you get the little fucking flute that take.
Did I ever show you this, Billy?
That's great. Yeah, that's awesome.
And because I was so into game art,
that's great,
and animation and stuff. Like the next step after that was like. A lot of that early like Street Fighter 2 artwork that was like coming out of Capcom and then they were putting out the Udon comics for that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this stuff
remember that.
Great stuff.
It was, yeah. So, and
that's my early entry then.
No, that's really cool because like I often don't really think about that a lot as when we talk comics, we talk, the traditional superhero stuff.
Yeah.
And, indie books, but you never often think about this video game stuff, the tie-in stuff. A lot of that was pretty cool.
And I was reading and that's what I'm saying. I mean, I was reading Ninja Turtles and stuff like that, and I liked it as like a thing that I liked as a kid, but it was never like this is what I want to do. like for sure. Like,
right. Like the Zelda comics spoke to you, and it was like,
yeah.
you know, I want to be a part of this. That's great. How about you, Matt? Was there anything in your past that kind of put you on this path?
Oh, geez, I'm just soaked in comic books. I have several uncles, and they're fairly close to my age.
Okay.
So I was getting lots of hand-me-down comic books, lots of Marvel stuff, lots of DC stuff. I was getting hand-me-down toys like Clash of the Titans action figures and stuff like
Awesome.
Gregory the Bat with like the bleeding chest and stuff. So
Nice.
yeah, so I had like just stuff always around. I just kind of grew up. Like I had the Spider-Man thing that hung on the wall that was like segmented. You know, you can kind of pose them a little bit. You remember that
Yeah,
like thing that
I
you
do
hung? I
remember
had
that.
that.
Yeah.
Famous Monsters, lots of those magazines I had. And then at a young age, I realized that this was somebody's job. Somebody was like, that was like what they were doing for a living. And that was it. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna work at Marvel. Like I just assumed as a little
decided,
kid.
right?
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be working at Marvel. Like I'll be in the bullpen.
That's
And
awesome.
so yeah, I spent most of my younger life just life drawing, art student league in New York, just trying to build up those skills.
I
And
had these
then
dreams like I was going to be this fish out of water, having to like go to Japan like Snake Eyes did, but to like learn animation, like to like be a Zelda animator. I'm like, they'll never accept me into their society.
oh my god,
Outsider.
Wasn't that? Well, that's true, though, isn't it? They, you know, like I don't hear of any Americans actually being like animators on anime. I don't think they allow it, right?
I've seen a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I've never seen a Caucasian.
Yeah, I
person
don't.
like that.
Now they do. They do now, but they back in the day they wouldn't.
Yeah,
like,
like
no,
back
thank
when
you.
I was in school, the teachers were telling us that it was not even a career path for people because they don't let in outsiders, But I guess yeah, that might be different now with Netflix and everything.
Yeah.
And there's like a lot of like shared studios now, isn't there? Something like
Yeah.
that with them.
Sorry, and I cut you off, Matt. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. And then I kind of missed the whole image thing because I got a hold of a couple of long boxes of heavy metal magazines from
okay. Yeah.
from my stepdad. So it was just like I had nice 4 long boxes just filled with heavy metal magazines from like
Nice.
the 70s up to the early 90s. So I was just absorbing European stuff and
Oh, nice.
so
Yeah,
that's what I was kind of jamming on. And then I went to school for comic book illustration. And
Where'd
then
you go?
I went to SVA, School of
Okay.
Visual Arts.
Yep.
So it's like a couple of blocks away from Marvel.
Oh,
So
wow.
you see, like my mentality was like, yeah, I'm gonna go work at Marvel. Like it's right up the road. But then like reality hit me where you like find out that there's like more people playing the NBA than there were professional illustrators at the time. Seriously, like
It was
you had
tough to get in.
DC and you had like
That's
Harris
crazy.
Comics, you had Dark Horse Comics, and you had Marvel. There's more Navy SEALs than there are professional comic book artists.
No, it's true.
So
Yeah.
True.
like that was just like, so for several years I was knocking on the doors and working on it, and then somebody else answered, a TV production was like, dude, we'll take you, and so I went in and started doing like TV production and storyboards and logos, and so that was like 20 years. And so now that I've done that, I've kind of come back around. Now I'm doing comic books, with Chuck Dixon and Dan Plegel, and it's a dream come true. Like I'm still doing my day job stuff. Like I did the storyboards for the national championship opening.
Okay.
Go Dogs! But man, I'm like loving this comic book stuff. So that I feel like this is what I'm like meant to be doing. I mean, I'm not working at Marvel because the Marvel that I want to work for doesn't exist anymore. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
Larry Hama doesn't work there. Stan Lee isn't there. Like I'm not gonna like have to sweat if Jim Shooter likes my stuff. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
And like that was like, you know, what I thought about. But yeah, I'm enjoying where I'm at right now and who I'm with.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man, on that. Like I think about maybe 5 years ago, like, you know, I was still thinking like, oh, you know, maybe I'd love to work at Marvel someday, or even DC Comics. You know, here we are 5 years
No
later, and I
way.
could care less to
No,
be part
thank
of
you.
that. You
I'm
know,
not giving them any. No, I'm not giving them a second of my life
yeah, no,
because you
it's like,
see how they've treated people. You see, like, you know, people having to do like GoFundMes for older artists. You
yeah,
know,
no,
that
it's
is
like a
it's a shame.
miserable.
It's a real shame to like you know to see that kind of stuff where it's like, oh yeah, you know, I met Gene Colan and he had done, you know, Tomb of Dracula, he had done all this Daredevil, and like he had like severe cataracts at the time. And it was like, dude, Marvel should have helped him. You know what
Oh
I mean?
yeah,
I just
definitely.
feel like so just seeing that kind of stuff, it's like, no thank you. You know, I'm the little robot in Star Wars now. I'm like, no thank you.
Yeah.
No thank you. Don't touch
No,
me. No thank you.
hey,
No,
I
it's
You know.
hear
it's
you,
really
man. I hear
sad.
you. What's that?
Like,
What'd
I'd
you
rather
say?
work on my stuff. You know, I'd
yeah.
rather work on Dan's stuff. I'd rather like have Dan's stuff explode. I'd rather have Rock and Roll Ninja be everywhere. You know, like do I like
Yeah.
Spider-Man? I love Spider-Man. Do I like Batman? But I'm just not gonna I'm not work for hire anymore.
Yeah, no, and I hear you. What were you gonna say, Amy?
Oh, no, I was going to say I know an artist who did work for a lot of work for Marvel and was living in New York City and moved to Massachusetts. And I asked him, like, why'd you move to Massachusetts away from New York? And he said that he would probably be dead because of healthcare issues if he stayed in New York because he couldn't afford the insurance and healthcare stuff. And Marvel wasn't really helping him out. So
Yeah.
it's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
So
So we're
now,
doing our own stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean that's the
Mhm.
way to go. Indie's killing it right now. I think. Like, I mean, you know, it's like, why even bother with Marvel and DC?
You have so much more freedom to explore your own ideas, and you know the editors that you're working with, you can choose your editors who support your ideas and want to make them great instead of just nitpicking and pushing you down or telling you can't do that, you know.
No one's
Yeah.
going to tell you to draw in a different style.
Right.
And you know,
Yeah.
there's the
That
customers are
too.
there. Like there's people out there who want to buy these comic books. I mean, the two big companies have like Pavlovianly trained people. Hey, every Wednesday, come buy your comics, consume this product, and now they're not producing that product anymore.
Yep.
So you
Mhm.
have generations of people who are like, "Where's my comics?" Like
Yeah.
I've grown up reading comics. I want the tactile feel of a comic book, and there's no comic books.
Yeah,
So
no.
that's the indie scene is just
Or you walk into a
exploding.
store now and you look around and it's like none of it's appealing. Like the
Oh my
covers are
god,
all
dude!
boring.
Mhm.
I've
You know
tried
what I
to go
mean?
into the comic book store locally twice,
Yeah.
and it's just like I can't do it. I used to go in there and been like, okay, I'm gonna spend $30 because I like the shop. You know, I
Yeah.
like the guys running the shop. I'm gonna
But
spend
what do you buy?
$30.
You always buy the back issues, the stuff that was
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I'm
You know what I
buying
mean?
trade
Like,
paperbacks. I'm
yeah,
buying,
exactly.
collected
Dan still
editions of
buys
Avengers.
like the brand new X-Men's, like, because
I mean, every once in a while you'll see stuff like Rumble
For the
and like
art, I
those
couldn't
like
tell you what's
I
going on in
know
the store.
exactly
that
'cause
Beta
for
Ray
that
Bill
same reason we
Thor
were
thing
having
was
that
dope.
like
But
The
yeah,
only,
conversation.
I
to
stopped
be
buying
fair,
stuff.
the only comics that I've read in a long time.
Oh, thanks,
Aw.
man. Thanks, man. I
I'm not
appreciate
joking. Even the crowdfunded stuff. I've crowdfunded a lot of books. This is the only thing that I can honestly say these books I've read cover to cover.
that. Really?
No,
Thank you, man. I
Yes.
appreciate that.
when I had brought it up to Dan once, I was like, "Hey, have you heard of the Mighty Mascots? I was thinking about buying that off of Alterna." Like he got all close to him. He's like, "You should just go buy that right now." Like I fully endorse like that book. I've read the whole thing. Like
Oh,
if
that's
you're
awesome.
thinking about buying it, you should just go buy it.
Oh, that's
And
awesome. Thank you.
I was telling my friends today that I was having lunch with the colorists from Marvel and stuff. I was like, you need to see this book. It's amazing.
Oh, really?
Yes. I was
And-
selling it in the car to them on the way to lunch today.
What did they think? Did you show it to them or
They
no?
said it. They're like, oh, that sounds cool. And like, so they're probably going to check it out.
How do you ever get now the you don't have to tell me if you don't want to, but the friends you have at Marvel, do they ever give you any dirt on what's going on in there behind the scenes?
Not really. I mean, when I hang out with them, they don't talk a lot of shop, really.
Okay.
Like, we just talk about random stuff. Like, if there's something art wise that's going on we love, we talk about, which is why I brought up that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's kind of cool. I mean, just to keep it civil, right? Because I imagine it's, like, I can't even imagine what's going on over there, judging by the books that are coming out, you know what I mean? It's just like,
Yeah. And a lot of stuff I think this is the other problem is a lot of stuff that they're working on currently isn't stuff they can talk about because it's like stuff that's like down the line.
Yeah,
you know what
like
I mean?
6 months coming out.
Yeah. So most of the stuff they can talk about is already like so far in their rear view, they're not even thinking about it anymore.
Yeah, and it probably just like whatever. It's just a job, Yeah, like because we know a few people from Marvel, like Joe Carmania and a couple other people that we've known for years, and it's like they don't really talk about what they're doing, or it's just good to see them, So yeah, I get that. So
if you ask, they will though, and I think a lot of it is that people are. I mean, they're happy to be working and they're happy to have their jobs, and in a lot of ways, like the companies do treat people okay. And I don't know. I heard one of our Marvel friends was talking about some work he's doing for video games, which is kind of exciting for mobile games. So that was kind of neat.
Yeah, I worked in mobile for quite a few years. That was good money.
Yeah, it's good money. It's up and coming. A lot of people use mobile games, so it's kind of it's neat. So if you find that thing that they're excited about, then they'll tell you all about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
for me, I never I like the big. I mean, I pick up some of the mainstream stuff. Like if the artist is really good, I'll pick up Batman occasionally if it looks interesting, and I might read it. Like I read like
Batman
the Three Jokers,
okay,
I think,
book right now. Like, but I don't know. I like that James Tynion writer. I think he's pretty good.
And they just
but he's leaving the book, which
he's leaving the book, but they've got a new team on there. I just picked up the books. I don't know where they're at, but there's a new team on there, and like it looks like they've taken Batman like back because all the characters look classically how they looked, even Batman does, and they have Punchline in there, but Punchline is like a 7 or an 8-year-old.
Oh,
who's
weird.
Who's like a villain kid super fan in the book.
That's interesting. So did they go backwards in time, or is it?
They went. I guess they took him back to a different period to do this current run for whatever reason. I don't know if they're telling some old stuff that's gonna dovetail into something present.
The future, maybe.
Yeah,
I'll have to look at it.
I mean,
the writer is that they got to replace Tynion. I've read some of his stuff, and it's just kind of there. It's just kind of serviceable, I guess, but it's like there's nothing exciting about it, and I instantly forget it after I close the book, So I was gonna probably skip his run, but
Williamson, is that the guy?
Yeah, Williamson.
Yeah, so that's the latest one that I got.
Let me see the cover here. Let me pull it up. Okay, not a bad cover. The art. Did they get rid of what was it, George Jimenez that was doing the art? I think.
Yeah, it's Molina now.
Okay. I wonder where he was a good artist.
But this guy's good. He's like a cross between. I would say he's a cross between Oliver Coipel and like I don't know, like maybe that the other artist was on it before.
Okay. Yeah, let me look
some of the interiors.
No, that's not too bad.
So it
does look like the last guy a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to get a few monthly books, but I get all my stuff mailed to me.
That's the Punchline character right there as a little kid.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
And she's like she's like a super fan, wanted Batman's autograph.
That's weird.
It's really weird.
But what I was gonna say is the most of the stuff I end up buying is, you know, like indie stuff. Like
Yeah.
I've gone from
Well,
buying a ton of Marvel and DC to buying maybe 1 or 2 books from them, and then all the rest is like indie stuff, you know.
yeah.
And so it's been a big shift for me, like on what I get monthly, you know. But
I've been getting a lot of stuff from a company called Aftershock.
yeah,
They do a lot of interesting stuff. But I was gonna say, like, growing up, like obviously, like most guys, because like when I realized like people were they were making their adult livings drawing comics was right around the time, like literally like the year before, or like within a couple months of Image actually happening. But like I never really wanted to be Marvel or a DC guy, and mainly because I was never really good at drawing the guys with the pointy ears or the pointy fins on the back. And like, really, if you're drawing something cool, it's going to be one of those two guys. It's going to be Wolverine or Batman you're drawing, in my opinion.
Right.
But the guy I wanted to be was this guy.
Oh, yes.
I wanted to be a Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, like Turtles guy. And also this guy, which I became friends with, which was pretty awesome, which is Brian Plegel.
Oh, yeah,
so those two guys are the archetype for what I wanted to be as a creator.
Ninja Turtles meets Lady Death, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Amy's actually a big fan of Lady Death too, right?
I am. Yeah, I am a fan.
That's when I first met her. She was buying Lady Death comics at the comic store.
I was buying Lady Death comics, and Keith was really judgy because it was just one of those, you know, books with women with, but no, it had a good story.
It does. And the new stuff is awesome. Like,
is it good? I know he's like killing it on crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
yeah. He's like a grandfather of it now.
480K.
Wow.
Jesus Christ, that's amazing. Wow, that's
great.
I'm like, Brian, please, some master classes.
Right? I mean, but he's been doing crowdfunding like before it was even cool, right? You know, like it was, you know,
the minute,
right at the beginning of Kickstarter, and I think.
Yeah,
you know?
the minute he heard about crowdfunding, he got in there and was doing
smart dude, man.
Yeah.
Smart dude. And it doesn't work for anyone now. It's freaking that's the dream, right? To make like a book.
Pretty much.
All of us.
Brian Plegel told me in person. He might have said this before somewhere else, but I remember because I always would see him and his wife Fran at Comic-Con, and Brian told me one of the things that stuck with me forever is he says, Dan, you need to get 1,000 fans. He's all, when you have 1,000 fans, you just keep those people happy, and you'll always be successful making your books. He's all, so find those 1,000 people to like what you're doing, and he's like, and you'll be good to go.
I mean, that sounds like solid advice. I mean, you know,
it's true.
Yeah,
I mean, that is the case. And really, when I was looking at numbers of like what the books are doing, like if I had 1,000 backers, I wouldn't be doing AAA roadside service, getting people's burnt corpses out of cars on the side of the road, or like laying down on the freeway to hook people's cars up in traffic. You know, like,
is that what you do for a day job?
Yeah, that's my day job.
Oh my god.
So in the middle of the night, I'm out there, like people's cars are conking out in the middle of the freewway, and I'm having to get out there and like.
I hate that he's out there doing
whizzing by. So dangerous. Oh, that is so dangerous.
It's like I wish he'd do something safer. You know, like underwater welding.
Literally is
maybe a coal mine. I don't know, gravel
is literally mimicking
like
my mother.
Chernobyl cleanup crew.
Yeah, Chernobyl cleanup. You know, 3 Mile Island, 3 Mile Island. You know, salvage. Just not Los Angeles AAA roadside service.
That's probably the most dangerous job you could do. Yeah. Do you bring your comic with you so as people are like waiting? Hey, can I interest you in a book? Like,
you know what?
He's like inking while he's driving.
There you go. Hey, entertain yourself with this. You know, while you're waiting.
Yeah, while you're waiting, have a read.
You know, why not? You know,
that's not a bad idea. You should start. That'd be a great idea to just start Ubering.
I was thinking about it, but the
LA
problem
is
and
have comics in the back seat.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like have them
I
in
mean-
that little pocket in the back seat, and just say, "Hey, no phone in my car, please." And so they're forced to read something. There you go.
The one thing
Sorry,
I
I'm
do
sensitive
a
to the
lot is I do
radiation
talk
of
about
Yes.
the campaign and stuff, but
not of my phone, but of your phone.
What were you gonna say, Dan? I'm sorry.
I said the one thing I do talk about the campaigns and the crowdfunding scene a lot when I'm in the cab. So I'm always spreading the word, whether it's my book or someone else's book or whatever.
Yeah, why not? If it comes
Yeah.
up,
I've towed Rob Liefeld twice.
Have you
And,
really?
Yeah,
really?
he
That's
he
cool.
lives in my area. He's
Oh,
the
look at it.
reason why. He's one of the main reasons why I'm drawing comics now.
Wow.
Is he
And,
really? Tell me that story. Like,
Well, I'm from Fullerton, California, which
Yep.
is where Rob kind of like jump started the beginning of his comic book career. Because he didn't when he credits his comic book career starting in Anaheim, because that's Anaheim Winter Park area, which is where he used to go to get his books and stuff.
okay.
But when he started working for Marvel, like doing New Mutants and Hawk and Dove, he was living in Fullerton at the time.
Okay.
And I didn't know who he was. I would see him riding around town on a 10-speed with bicycle chains that were like that thick around gauge, like heavy chains just wrapped around the bike. It looked like Lobo or Pitt's arm with all the chain, but wrapped around a skinny 10-speed. Like nobody was stealing his bike. Like it was like secure as it could get. And it was like Pee Wee Herman's, where it had like 1,000 feet of chain.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And so I knew him as the guy with the 10-speed with a ton of chain, and because I rode a bike too at the time, but I just had like one of those U-shaped like kryptonite locks or whatever they are. I can't remember, but I would see him, and I knew he was a guy that bought comics, and he rode around town on this 10-speed, and I would just see him going back and forth all the time. And there was a couple shops in our town, and one of the shops he was a regular at, which was. There was two of them. There was one that was like kind of like Aladdin's Magic Cave of Wonders that had all kinds of crazy like ancient comic stuff and movie memorabilia and stuff in it. But the owner there was like hated kids, and it was just kind of like it was a place if you were looking for something obscure or hard to find, that was a place you're going to find it. And then on the other side of the block was like the Peanuts Clubhouse comic shop where like the owner knew you, he knew like stuff you would like, and like
Gotcha.
everybody was like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like,
Right,
and
right.
it was the hangout thing, and that's where Rob shopped, and I shopped there a lot, and I would see him coming and going from there, and then eventually I went into high school, and that was probably after about 5 years of going there. And in my freshman year of high school, a buddy I went to school with, who was also a comic fan, said, "Hey, you're gonna go down to Adventureland on Saturday and like get your book signed by the Marvel artist?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, the guy that draws New Mutants is gonna be there, and Rob Liefeld." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess, yeah, sounds cool." So I went down there, and it was like a weird shift thing happened where I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, there's a guy that's paid a living to do this stuff." And I was like, that's cool. I want to do that. And at the time, he was like one of my new favorite artists because I'd been picking up, I'd followed him from Hawk and Dove over to New Mutants. And I was just like, oh man. And I didn't, and then when I found out it was that guy, I was like, holy shit, this is the guy I see around town all the time. And he was super nice, and like he had these photocopies of like, they were like stats that he had of reference for the characters, and he had one of Cable because he just designed Cable, and I was like, he was gonna throw it out, and I was like, can I have that? And he's like, sure, and he gave it to me, and I had that on my wall for years.
Oh, nice.
And
Cool.
but and that was kind of like what kind of started that was like, then I like at that point I was like, I need to create my own comics, but I was never like, I need to draw X-Men or like whatever.
Right.
I was like, I was off like, because at that time also around high school, I was collecting a lot of like underground stuff. Like I was into like Lady Death, Evil Ernie. I was into Grips and Faust and
okay, yeah,
a lot of like the hardcore like underground stuff, like
Wait,
Poison
Dan, so-
Elves.
Dan,
And
where in that timeline then that you met Fraga after that?
well, see, that's the thing. Fraga wasn't even there yet. Like I'd met
Fraga wasn't
Rob
there yet.
first, and then I was into a lot of that stuff, and I was going to lots of little local shows, and then I would say about a year and a half maybe after I met it was probably like my sophomore year or my junior year I met Fraga. Because it was after Rob had been on New Mutants for a couple years and he started X-Force. And then
Fraga was like
so it
working
had to
at
have
the
been
comic book shop.
Yeah, it had
Fraga
to
was
have been,
working at the comic shop there?
Fraga didn't move down
That's
here to work
awesome.
at the comic shop until after Rob. Like he moved here right around the time Rob had launched X-Force and like Savage Dragon was about to come out. And that's when Dan had showed up at the comic shop. And then that was when there was a third shop within the 2 blocks. And the third shop,
Wow.
actually, no,
Gangs.
I just remembered the third shop showed up because the one that I was telling you about, the really amazing one, magically caught fire and burnt down. And the guy who was half owner of that one went over and started a new shop, which was like super fancy and like upscale and like nice looking.
my
Like
God.
it was like new. It was like nice. And
That's
that guy was good friends with Rob, I guess from college or high school or something like that. And so Rob was kind of like a silent partner maybe with that guy. And when Dan moved up here, Rob said, "Hey, you got that small apartment space upstairs. Could I have this guy stay there?" And so that's where Dan lived for a little bit before he started working at Extreme full time.
Oh, nice.
So
are those stores still there, or is it like are they all gone?
No, they're both gone.
Yes, man, that was a magical time if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like the early '90s. Like I remember just going in the store. I mean, we didn't have the internet, so you had no idea what you would see on the shelf there, and that was great. That was like my favorite time.
I remember Dan's life thread has like met so many creators like throughout his life.
Just
and,
like bumping into him.
Like
he's like
decades.
the Forrest Gump.
Well, like he's been friends with Fraga now for like 3 decades. It's crazy.
I was even friends with Sid Haig for a while before he passed away.
Were you really?
Yeah. I've got plenty of stories about Sid, and I had dinner with him many times. One of the last conventions he was doing, I was supposed to fly out with him and help him get through airport and everything like that because he was pretty sick at the time. And
it was sad
I
when
wasn't able to go to that
finally
show.
saw 3 from Hell and just his little part in there. It was like, it broke my heart a little bit. He looked really bad, and I'm happy that he did the part just for Rob Zombie, to kind of have a part in that movie. But like, man, it was sad to see him, like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a big horror guy too. I met him at a couple Fango conventions. He was always really nice, always like happy to take a picture with fans and everything. So yeah.
And that was the weird thing is like part of the way I became friends with him was I was kind of helping run this series of conventions called Mad Monster. And he was one of like him and my friend, one of my good friends, it's the main guy that started it. He really got along with Sid. So Sid always had a table and they always brought him out if he was willing to come.
Oh, cool.
And growing up, and I would see Sid at shows, Sid always looked in person to me like the guy he plays in the movies. Like, kind of intimidating.
Yeah, a little bit.
I remember one time.
I remember he was tall and kind of like,
wow,
he's
tall,
is that guy,
big,
dude.
He had big hands.
Yes,
like he was a big man. Like
he played
physically.
a lot of enforcers early on in his career.
Yes,
right? Yeah,
lots of tough guys.
Yeah,
and I was at a show and I had to do something to help him with. They were doing photo ops with him as Captain Spaulding, and I helped out like with the makeup artist and him like get stuff they needed for the thing, and he wanted we had some shirts we made of his character for the show, and I got him shirts, and I told him, I said, it's funny, I always was intimidated to come talk to you because like you were so good in the movies that when I would see you, I would like in my mind I'm like, he's a serious man. Don't bother him with your trivial goofiness, you know.
Yeah, like
And
he's larger than life. Like
yeah,
this is
and
kind
then
of like
from that conversation, it turned around and it was like it was always like showed in. He's like, what are you doing for dinner? You're eating with me, you know, like stuff like that. And like we would go.
cool.
Oddly enough, we'd go get fried chicken together.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And yeah, but
That's great. So, I was gonna say, like, getting back to like the comics and stuff
Yeah.
here. So, how do
Sorry,
you
totally
how
derailed.
do you, now are all three of you guys involved with your campaign?
Well, yes.
Okay.
So the man directly above me, he's done a lot of the graphic design. He's going to be lettering the book.
Okay.
He redid my logo on there.
I like it a lot.
Which I have the old book over here. I'll show that in a minute. The
Yeah.
logo on that, I describe it as my logo is like kind of like the old comic book ads of like the 90-pound weakling, like in 50 days.
Charles
Oh,
Atlas.
Lord.
Stuff.
Charles
Yeah,
Atlas. And so mine was like the guy getting the sand kicked on him. And then when Matt did his logo, it was like Hulk Hogan showed up and was like, no,
like,
brother, this is how it is.
I got you
Flex
back.
Mentality,
3 minutes. It was like this beefy like beast of a logo. And I was like, this logo is perfect. This needs to be on everything from buttons to t-shirts to hats. I was like, whatever we got to do to make this happen. And Matt was like, I just want to hang out and make cool shit. He's like, so, you know, let's do this. And I was like, all right. And then
I believe Dan was quoted as saying,
on,
"This is my favorite thing on the campaign now." Like
it is. It literally, I love the logo so much. Like, like anything, I can put it. I'm gonna say this out loud. I can put it on the worst dog shit I've ever drawn, and it makes that dog shit look expensive. Like
That's the
I love
goal.
it.
I will say it is a great logo, Dan. Good or Matt, good job. Good
Yeah.
job.
I mean, it's close to what I did, but he took it and like Disneyified it. You know, like made it iconic.
It was a good sketch. He started off with a good starting point. So I was
the
already
logo.
like on
So
the path.
okay, so
the old one.
that's the original logo right there.
Yeah, it's
so
very
show that to
very
everybody.
anemic.
Okay, and then now let's show
The new one
this.
is beefy as all hell.
There we go.
Yeah,
Look
at that.
Um,
There's lots of energy and like more character in that than what I did.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like the logo often like subconsciously like gives you an idea of what the book is. So like I think like this logo nails it 100%. Like you don't even see an image here, but you can already kind of know what this book's gonna be. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just from that logo, you know. So yeah, great job on that. So now Matt, you do all the lettering on the book as well, or
yeah, I'm going to be doing the lettering. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Once Dan has it all written out,
which I'm hoping to start doing that this next month. I just have to gray tone a couple more pages, and a couple of them Billy needs so he can get more color stuff done, like sample stuff.
Yeah, this looks. Now, Dan, are you going into in demand on this?
We shall be. Yes,
okay,
I believe
good,
it's already.
I
already
definitely want to back it, and I don't know if I can hit it before that 7 days.
Thank you, friend.
Is up. Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, it's right before Christmas. Yeah, don't worry about it. Like,
yeah.
That's what I was hoping. I was hoping it was going on demand, or maybe I would get the.
It should be.
Campaign.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Well, and I wanted to say, like, we're lucky to have Matt, like, even coming in to do this type of work, because this is like what some of what Matt does, like has done in his 9 to 5 in the past. But but Matt's like a one-stop shop as far as like, I mean, he's a pencil, inker, letterer, colorist, like everything, like on his other stuff. So
his Rock and Roll Ninja book, like they've shown some stuff on the campaign.
I'm aware of that one because you know,
dude, there's. I love okay. I bought the book because of the campaign.
Yeah.
Like page, like I like what's on there, but I'm telling you, there's stuff there that like I kind of wish like somehow we could like adjust the campaign to show some like different things, because they're like it's comparable of what you're getting, but I feel like there's stuff with so much energy and character that was not used to promote the book. That's not even spoiler stuff in the book. That
Oh,
it
really?
just like Rock and Roll Ninja is like amazing. Like, do you remember? And I always say this, and Matt probably rolls his eyes, but do you remember the GI Joe yearbook
Yeah,
that
like
Michael
the ones
Bolton drew?
that Marvel used to
Where
put out, where
where
it was like,
Cobra and the October Guard are fighting over like a missile on a train, and then eventually GI Joe shows up at the end and kind of like gets one up on both of them.
actually, I don't remember that
Okay,
per
you
se,
got to
but I
find this
remember
book.
the
It's
book.
great. But
Okay.
Michael Golden drew it. This looks like that style of art with
Okay.
like maybe like the aesthetic of like a really good like European artist like an Oliver Vatine or
Oh,
something like
Jesus.
that draws really good backgrounds that are
Okay.
like well
Okay.
designed, because that's what Matt's stuff is. Like amazing backgrounds with characters that are like between realistic to like iconic sort of caricature that has tons of like energy flow.
That's awesome.
Which is what I tend to try and go for with my stuff. So like when I see that in other people's work, like my brain is instantly like all over that. So when I saw that, like a little bit of that, I was like, this is cool. I wanted to get this. And then when I started hanging out with Matt and he showed us some of the other pages, I was like, oh God. Like I know a lot more about what's coming that most people haven't even seen. And it's like, it's so good. Like
This actually image right here reminds me a lot of like Dan Barretton, like the Barretton, is that how you say his name? The guy that
Dan
used to
Burton?
do Burton,
I will say, I'm assuming I'm still friends with Dan.
Oh,
I haven't talked to him in a long time.
But it reminds
Dan,
me of his stuff, like that Giant Killer book he used to do for like DC and stuff.
Yes,
like,
I'm a huge Dan Brereton fan. I like, he was one of the early artists that like I'm like, if I could just draw like him.
Oh, dude, when you see his stuff, it like stands out from everybody else. It's just, it's just such a nice looking image, you know.
Yeah,
that's what this reminds me of. The coloring and like just the jagged lines stuff reminds me of his artwork a lot.
Yeah,
so
I love
it's great
stuff.
image. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of scroll through here too, and we can play the trailer too as well in a minute.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, look at these pages, so great. So the whole book's black and white.
Okay, so we got two versions on the campaign.
Okay.
There is the gray tone black and white version that looks like this.
Okay.
And then there's going to be Billy's color version, which it's gotten to the point where every time Billy turns in pages, I'm slowly going, there's my book, which is the black and white book, and then there's Billy's book, which is the color book.
Yeah, very cool.
Like he's doing so much with color, like at times he's adding stuff, and I'm like, oh well, now maybe I have to adjust my black and white pages to like do some of the effects that he's doing with color. And everybody's like, no, definitely don't do that. Like, leave it so they're both uniquely different like experiences. And I was like, okay. So
yeah, no, I kind of like that, because I mean, you look at the old TMT, the Eastman and Laird turtle books, and it's like, you know, those look great. I couldn't even imagine those in color now, you know.
But like I like the black and white here, like the gray is so strong. So I look at that, I'm like, I can't imagine that in color. But then I see Billy's colors, it's like, wow, that's awesome. So like
I was gonna say the one after this page here, like this one. Okay, so don't go to the color yet. So if you look at this page, like there's stuff going on here, and it's strong enough, I think. Yeah. But then Billy got a hold of it, and he added effects to it and did a bunch of stuff. And this was the one I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to like adjust this, and Billy and everybody else was like, no, don't do it.
Oh wow, okay, I see what you're talking about now.
He put in all that energy stuff, and I was just like, like
that's fantastic. Yeah, that's
even there with the book where he's grabbing the book, there's like debris in the
eyes here, like glowing. Is really cool.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, this is great. So now, do you offer a tier that has both versions?
You could just get one or the other, or you can get both together, or you can get both with a bunch of other stuff. Like, we tried to offer everything under the sun.
Yeah.
And then if somebody wanted one of the more abstract tiers, like the original art tier or something like that, you can even add some of these. You could add the color version onto it, or like whatever. You can kind of mix and match in the back end as you check out. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, and you guys already hit your goal, which is amazing.
yeah,
This
we
is,
did that in the first day. I was like,
Did you
blown away.
really?
I was like,
Did you really?
Oh,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's great.
Yeah,
it was
that's
crazy.
great.
I
And
was
it's all
like,
gravy after that, you
Yeah,
know?
it takes a lot of the stress away.
It
you know?
does.
yeah. Well, technically, it's gravy. As soon as we get like 500 more, it'll be guaranteed gravy.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's about. I figured with printing and like some of the tchotchke things I'm ordering for it, and paying Billy for the color work and taking care of Matt because I got some stuff I'm getting for Matt. It's it should all shake out around like 12. Like, so at
Okay.
that point, I mean, it already might be now, but I'm just saying, like, to be conservative, safe.
Yeah.
Like 12 looked like where I'm gonna break even, and like people are gonna be happy. I'm gonna be happy because people are happy. You know.
Right.
So this is a
Establishing the
books-
first of those 1,000 fans.
Yep.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm
you got
trying
the
to
first,
to get those fans to find me
1/10 of
first.
those.
Yeah.
Now,
Right.
are the tchotchkes you mentioned, are those like stretch goals or bonuses that you're going to include when you ship, or what are you doing?
So the stretch goals. So the stretch goals, the problem with the stretch goals is every time we were like, okay, let's do a stretch goal this much, the thing would blow past that amount.
Yep.
Okay.
So and it just kept like leading away from us. So at this point, there's going to be surprise things that people are going to be getting.
Okay.
And but there is an item on here called the Goblin's Chest here.
Okay.
Which is kind of like how Ethan Van Sciver had that executive box thing. I
Okay,
wanted to kind of
yeah.
have something like an all-in thing on this for people.
Right here.
And that's going to have like the t-shirt, it's going to have the 2 versions of the book. It'll have an original illustration, which I have a couple of them drawn up already. All right, here we go. So the original illustration will be like this. It'll be about this size.
Okay.
And it'll be a drawing like this of Goblin Girl.
Oh, cool.
And so it'll come with one of these. It'll be numbered at the bottom.
An actual ring of power will be included also in the
I found a place that has a ring that's similar to what I put in the book. So I'm gonna have those put in there. I think there's even a size chart in there. So
Right here. I see it on the thing.
You can get it. You can get the
The
right
ring is
size.
right there.
Guaranteed to turn your finger green eventually.
That's a good idea though, to like do like one big box.
Yeah, and
You know,
so
like-
it's gonna have the artifact of the original book, which has different looking art in it. It's kind of like a. This is kind of like on a show when they go previously on,
Okay.
or
Yeah.
previously on friend on Goblin Girl.
Yeah.
Like that, this book, it would be the equivalent of that of the first book. It's kind of like it's mainly narrated, and it's like abbreviated form of this long.
How old is that one? It's from 2009, 2016.
The cover was done in 2009, but I believe the book was drawn up and printed in 2010. I drew the interior in about a week. So
Gotcha.
a little rushed.
So now is this a brand new story, or is it a reprint stuff?
This is top to bottom except for page 1, all redrawn.
Oh, okay. So it's
Yeah.
like what's the story on Goblin Girl if people are interested in the audience? To,
Goblin
back
Girl
it?
it's basically it's like a dark fantasy tale about like a group of characters that are I would say they're people that have either they've either had mistakes in their lives or situations where they've fallen short, and the world that they're living in has gone into it's been chopped down to the ground. It's been leveled by a magical cataclysm, and most fantastical things have died away, and it's mainly just some scavenging humans at this point, like rummaging around for stuff and little tiny bits of magical things going on, but nothing big at this point. And what ends up happening is that the goblins have absconded all the magical items and anything after this thing had happened, and they've taken it down underground and put it in a goblin horde, and so it's all kind of gone dormant for a long time. And then the Goblin Girl was born in this time, and she was as part of her goblin family, she was perceived as being extremely hideous. So they didn't want to kill her off because she is part of like the royal line. So they just locked her away and had somebody take care of her for the past 25 years or so. And so she's kind of like a feral child that's been like locked away. And eventually there's a prophecy that is witnessed by one of the goblin mages, and they say, oh, this she's no good. She's gonna cause problems for us, like extinction of our clan, basically. And so the king says, nope, send the dude down there, have him kill her. We can't have that happen. And he goes down there, and he can't do it because he's kind of like by the sheer fact of them locking her away and putting this guy in charge of taking care of her, they've kind of fundamentally humanized the two of them as people or creatures or whatever you want to call them, and they've now formed an emotional bond like a father and a daughter. And so he can't do it, so he sets her free and tries to fake her death, but she's not having any of this like you're killing me stuff. So she goes and like steals some magical items from the horde and goes and basically goes on a rampage. So from that point, it becomes an escape book of her trying to escape this goblin kingdom. And when she uses a magical item to escape, it actually sets a spark off on a powder keg of like that brings a new spring to all the magic fantasy stuff, along with the evil and the good. It springs back to life. So
gotcha.
Because
at that
not
point,
only the story of Goblin Girl's happening, but like
the building
after
of this
that,
world,
they
right?
establish.
yeah,
There's like two other parties of characters that are actually in this
There's
first
three.
book as well. Three other parties,
yeah.
and
There, because
we're gonna-
basically,
you're gonna
this
get to
first
see
book
all
is
these
setting up.
different.
This first book is setting up all of our kind of main characters that are part of our A team, as it were.
So you're doing
you know,
it's like a world building
Yes.
basically in this first
So the
book.
second, when you get to the second book, the second volume is going to be them going out on their first sort of mission, sort of thing. Because at this
So this
point,
is almost like the origin of her and like the start
and
of
her
this world,
and her
you
crew.
know?
It's kind of letting you know who all these characters are before
Gotcha.
they finally come together, and then they start roaming the countryside doing things.
It's not just
Gotcha.
boobs; it's story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of story. We had
Well, let's just hope the story is as big as the boobs, right?
it's pretty long right now. I have so far I have about 9 volumes of stuff so far
Awesome.
that I have mapped out of head.
I was gonna dip out of this real quick just so I could add
Go
the
for it.
audio because I want to play the trailer here. So let me
Yeah, this
redo
first book
this.
is already completely drawn and inked.
Yeah.
and he's
Oh,
already
great!
working
So
on
when
book,
are you guys?
he's
When are
working
you
on
guys?
book 2.
Okay. Are
We're
you
hoping-
gonna?
We're hoping, barring that there's no printing or shipping issues by like April or May, we'll probably be shipping maybe in June. That's what I was shooting for. If
Hopefully
not, we will be
supply
updating
chain-
people on it, but that's our plan.
Yeah, I would say just keep people in the loop. But like, hopefully the supply chain will start getting a little better.
I'm
at that
hoping by
point.
that point. That's why I'm trying to be hopefully optimistic and not worry about it too much, because everybody's like, well, who do you got printing you? You should set that up now. And I'm like, well, that's like in like April or May is what I'm thinking. And like, nobody's going to like, I don't think they're going to be like,
antsy. He draws
I don't think they're going to be like, you're going to hold all this paper for you till April or May.
Yeah,
Just let us know when you want to use this paper, because it's here for you.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't think that's how it works. So
Yeah,
I just have
yeah.
to hope by the time we go to print in April or May, there will be paper and there will be people driving trucks and planes flying in the air delivering things.
Yeah.
And
So,
I think as long as you keep your backers in the loop and give them regular
Yeah.
updates, people understand. I mean,
Well, we've been
I understand.
coming on here with you,
Yeah.
awesome people, and everybody else is kind of like our way of doing that. Eventually, we're going to be seeing more production updates on my own channel, and I'm going to be
good.
starting to try and figure out how to
I think I
do
put your
the
channel link in the
newsletter.
description below. So if people want to check out
yes,
process videos,
please.
you're going to be doing some of those soon. You said.
Yeah, well, we're
Awesome.
going to be starting updating probably like when we start doing some lettering, and Billy's got more color pages. We'll
Yeah.
pop some
Like I
stuff up
said,
there.
Dan's so antsy because like the book's already drawn for him, you know, like he's like as soon as we launched, he's like, Billy, I need to start working on another comic or something, because like this book's already drawn for me.
Right.
Like, I know, right?
Well, so what did I do? I went over and I met people, and I met this wonderful creator named Rini Draws. You might know her
Oh
as
yeah, I've
Irene
seen her
from
around
Fiendish.
on.
And now
Yep.
we're doing a Fiendish crossover book for next year.
Oh, cool.
And between
Because
our
her
two
campaign
campaigns,
did pretty well too, right? If I'm not
her
mistaken.
campaign did amazing, and her book looks fantastic. Like,
I've seen her on
I'm still
some
waiting on my
different
copy.
streams and in stuff.
Yeah,
she seems pretty cool.
She won the Frege
she did.
draw.
She's gonna get.
Did she really?
Yep.
Gonna get the
Yeah.
big belt.
Oh, nice. Let me play the trailer real quick here so everybody
Yes,
can
sir.
check this out. Awesome. Perfect trailer too. Like I was gonna say that just a perfect length and just show the artwork. That's all you need, like a 45-second thing like that's perfect. Yeah, this looks good, guys. This looks like a lot of fun. I definitely will back it when I get a free buck in my pocket.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, like no stress about it. I always love it when everybody says they want to back it. I'm like, thank you. Like,
yeah, no,
Keith
this
and
looks
I
a
will
lot
have
of
to
fun.
discuss off camera, because I usually backs things and he backs things, and oops, sometimes we back the same thing. We need to pool our resources to get.
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Get the 2-pack. Get the
Yeah,
two
there you
books.
go.
Okay,
And then
no,
I
You
also
gotta
want to
trade
take a
off.
look at Rock and Roll Ninja as well.
Yes.
Mm.
So there's no video on this one, but
No.
now is this already done? Is this?
I'll be
already
right
done?
back.
I got a few more pages.
Oh wow, okay.
It's due in the end of January, February.
Okay. And what is this? Oh, okay. So you guys are right on target then, as long as the printing goes well. I see it's like February 2020. And what's the quick pitch on this?
Quick pitch is a couple of guys, group of guys who were special forces of Vietnam.
Okay.
They form a band in the late 70s in New York. They end up needing money. They take a contracting job to do some training, and they end up getting involved with some ninjas.
Okay.
And there's ninja queens. There's assless chaps. There's caves. There's cults. It's like Apocalypse Now meets Enter the Ninja.
Okay.
Filmed by the director of Buckaroo Banzai.
Okay. That's wild. I love the artwork, man. This is great stuff.
Thank you.
I
like
the
a
pitch
loose.
sounds amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, so these guys, they don't realize that these guys are ninjas yet. They're it's kind of a Green Beret thing of like, hey, you're brought in. There's an indigenous group of people. You teach them M16s, you teach them claymores, you teach them modern tactics.
Yeah.
But it turns out that these guys, they just wanted to update their repertoire, right?
Okay.
So you have these ninjas who are, they know how to do all this other stuff, but they wanted to like update their stuff. But then they end up sticking with them, and they escape from the clan because they're brainwashed. They end up getting drugged. And so they're just like mindless ninja assassins for a little while, which is kind of cool. There's like a cool montage of them just killing people, and then they break it and they go back and start rock and rolling. So yeah.
No, I love that. if you're gonna do a ninja story, you got to set it in like the 70s and 80s, you know, like because that's when like ninjas were like the thing, you know. So this is great. How was it? How was it working with the infamous Richard Meyer?
Fine. It's actually it's been I say fine because it's been amazing.
Oh, good.
You know, it's been great. Like
I talked to him for 2 seconds at I think it was New York Comic Con, like maybe 4 years ago, when he just started out. And he was still, I think, diversity in comics at the time. And
so you've actually met him. See, I haven't.
I have, yeah, met him face to face. And
The Angels have more interaction with Charlie than I do with Richard.
Right.
I mean, I can email him anytime and I'll get a reply within minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, we're cool, but there is an employee or like a publisher,
like
artist
probably,
kind of.
it's like he's a project coordinator and you're the artist for it,
basically.
Yeah,
we can't get too buddy, and he's mentioned that on streams and stuff, so it's cool, but in a way I enjoy it. I've like with my freelance and some of my other stuff, like I won't answer my phone. I want them to email me, right?
Right.
And that way,
just so you can get more work done, right?
Well, I can get more work done, and also like, okay, if you email me, then I have like notes for what you want that I can like reference.
Yep.
Right. So it's like from I can't sit here and like remember all the shit you like said. So if you like email me, then I can. So it's awesome. I started working with him. He put out something, and I contacted him, and within 24 hours we had like emailed each other like 80 times. Right? It was wild. Like we were just like, as soon as I contacted him and showed him my stuff, it was it was on. We were just going back and forth about what we were gonna do and how it was gonna look and stuff. And then he brought Chuck in. Yeah, and it great. Just like totally just like added another layer of polish
like
to the whole
working with like industry professional, basically.
It's a holy shit moment. There was like a holy shit. Yeah, who am I working with? Because I have Savage Swords of Conan with his name in it. I have
right. All the Batmans he did for years.
Yeah. There's he wrote some of the best stuff. So it's a real privilege to.
I really like your art a lot. I love one thing I gotta say, like the characters are so dynamic. Like your poses are very, like they're not like stiff. There's a lot of action, and just even this image, you know what I mean? Like it's so congrats on that. Like, and I love this panel as well.
Yeah,
the guy doing kind of like a Freddie Mercury there or something.
Yeah, that's the lead singer. His name is Angel, and he's Latino, and he's he's flamboyant for sure. He's he definitely, it's like a kind of Adam Ant, Iggy Pop with some Prince mixed in, like as I'm like drawing it, I try to imagine what they sound like,
Yeah, definitely. That's
Thin
great,
Lizzy
man.
with Prince.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like what if Prince was like a little bit harder, with some Freddie Mercury for sure. Yeah, Adam Ant, some theatrics,
nice. What, do you have anything lined up after Rock and Roll Ninja, or are you?
Yeah.
What are you doing after this, or is it something you can't talk about yet?
Well, I have one thing that I'm not allowed to talk about, but see, Richard will contact me and he'll be like, "Hey, what do you think about this idea?"
Okay.
I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds dope." He's like, "All right, don't talk about it." And then he'll like talk about it on the stream, right? So I'll be like, hey Billy, guess what, man? I might be working on this thing with like this Batman character that like goes crazy and starts killing his sidekicks, right? And Billy's like, "Yeah, sidekicks. Yeah, Richard was talking about that. Sidekicks." I'm just like, holy what the fuck? Like, man,
Gotta
I mean,
save that content for himself.
Yeah,
yeah.
no,
So
that's-
I'm like, I mean, I don't do a lot of streaming. I'm just
Yeah.
not. I
yeah. I
haven't
was gonna
like
ask you
pulled
if
my
you have a
shit
YouTube
together.
channel and all that.
Not. I have a YouTube channel, but I also have a 6-month-old.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
like
Busy.
my schedule is
Yeah, when you're not
dictated
drawing,
with
it's family
diapers
time.
and bottles. Yeah. But
Matt, are you a musician as well as an artist?
no, I'm just an artist, painter, all around artist. But no, I'm not a musician.
Music appreciator.
And just like
Very much so. Very much so.
and just like for me with like Plegel, I was like following both of these guys before
Okay.
I even knew them, like as a fan. Like and then after knowing Matt for a while and him seeing my work, he's like, "Hey, do you want to like come in on Rock and Roll Ninja and like do like all the zipatoning work like on it?" And I was just like, "You want me to work with you like on that book with you and Chuck Dixon and Richard Smith?" He's like, "Yeah, man, yeah, I dig your stuff." I was
Billy's
just
like, you mean on the book that I backed?
I'm like, yeah.
That's awesome. That's great though. I mean, like, I mean, it's
Well, yeah, and I mean the three of us, even for Goblin Girl, didn't even come together as a team until just over 30 days before the campaign launched.
Yeah, it's crazy.
really?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Matt
I thought you
Yackee
guys.
was
wow.
Yackee was supposed to be the original colorist,
Okay.
And he
Dan
ended up
was gonna, yeah.
Matt was supposed to be the colorist.
He does
and
a lot with Don Chin, right? Doesn't he do stuff with Don
he
Chin?
did a cover for Don Chin, but I believe he's the colorist on Black Flag still.
Okay.
But he ended up like getting some sort of nerve injury thing, so it was hard for him to do any work for like a while.
Okay.
And like Black Flag was like trying to get hammered out, so it was like his schedule was looking really tight to line up with mine to get the book done on time. And he was already I guess he was already way into working on Ultra Star for Travis Purnell or whatever.
Okay.
And so he just kind of was like, "Yeah, man, I don't think I make it." And I was like, "All right, well, Billy over here wants to do." He's like, "Well, definitely go with Billy then." And so
Yeah.
I asked
Me and
Billy
Dan were
kind of,
friends, and I was like hoping that I could cover the
I
book,
kind of
but,
wanted him to do it, but I already offered it to Matt, and it was like Matt had colored everything I'd done before, so I felt weird like taking it away because and the other thing is I know a lot of colorists like they need gigs lined up in order to make a living, so it's like kind of crazy to offer him something and then take it away,
and to just pull it. Yeah.
So
No,
I didn't
hear
want to do that to him. And
you kind of have to wait for them to turn it down.
Almost, or just so. And then Billy was like, "Yeah, man, I'm still down to do that." So we did that, and then I think within that week of Billy saying yes, Billy's like, "So how are you gonna do this lettering thing?" I was like, "I'll just letter it." I mean, I lettered the other one. I was like, "Well, we should have somebody look it over, make sure it's good." I was like, "Okay, yeah, no problem." And Matt was there. He's like, "Well, if you want, I could letter that thing for you." And I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, I do typeset. And then he sent us this graphic that's like his business card for his graphic design work.
Okay.
And it's like a crazy it. I don't even know how to describe it. It looks like an advertisement for a bunch of different things, but the advertisement itself is selling him as a product as an illustrator. It's super cool, but it's got all these different fonts and stuff. So it looks like when you'd open up like an old monster mag, like a Fangoria or like a Famous Monsters or something, and there's one of those old creepy ads in there that's got all kinds of weird stuff going on. Yep. It's got that, like a bunch of different things on it looking like that, but they're all telling some story about like his career, like projects he's worked on and stuff. So it's like different styles for things. And I was just like, oh my God, this could be amazing.
Yeah, I used a graphic resume. Like instead of just doing like a basic resume, I did like a graphic novel for a resume, like a one page.
It's so cool.
So
great
now
idea.
basically the three of us are like this weird comic book Venn diagram of each other's. It's like I'm doing zipatoning on Matt's project. Matt's doing letters on Dan's project. I'm coloring Dan's project. So it's like we're But
yeah,
we're
no,
hoping.
it's
I
good.
mean, it's
I
like,
hope you guys team up for more stuff down the road.
we're
you
hoping
know?
to. We're
It's
really
looking good
are.
right now. I mean,
it's a given. I think it's a given.
yeah.
Nice. Awesome. All right. Well, we're almost at 90 minutes, if you guys can believe that. We've been
Oh, we can
yapping
believe
for
it.
90 minutes.
God,
So
we
usually
talk a lot.
I usually like to keep the show about an hour, so we've definitely
Oh.
gone over. But I before I start wrapping up, I'd love to go around the room and just give us any kind of plugs that you guys, anything you want to shout out, anything you want people to check out, like your social media links, or start with you, Dan, I guess.
With me, you can just look for me as Dan Plegel or Boob Dan Art on pretty much any platform, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and of course Twitter. Mostly active on Twitter and Instagram and the YouTube.
Gotcha.
But lately I've been on everybody else's shows. I'm trying to get back into doing my own again, but it's been difficult just because I've been so busy with everything.
Yeah, it's tough to like put time aside for YouTube when you can be
like
putting
this,
it towards
like
the book.
I need to do more of this.
Yeah, right.
But it's like something steady that happens once a week or something, and I just I haven't been able to nail it down just yet.
It's tough because it's like a lot of it's like you got to set it all up, you got to create the thumbnail. It's like it's almost a whole job unto itself. I'm in the groove of it now. Like when I first started this show with Johnny, I was just like, all right, how am I going to find time? It was during the pandemic, and now everything is like open, and it's like your life is kind of slowly going back to normal. And it's like, oh no, but I'm still finding time here and there and finding time to put it together and keep it going, so, but how about you, Billy? Any, where can people find you? Anything you want to promote?
On Twitter, you can look up at Billy Basco. It's got that weird C in the middle right there. Basco. On Instagram, it's Ghost Monster. You can look up Ghost Monster on either one, but it's that.
Okay,
but no,
perfect.
just check out Goblin Girl or Rock and Roll Ninja. I'm working on some tabletop stuff, but we're not really announcing anything till early next year. But
really nice. Is it on a property that we may know?
No, it's an all new property that's made that's being made by someone. But yeah, I'm part of a contract to like do all the art for the cards for the game. So
very cool. Yeah. That's fun. That's interesting.
But yeah, I mean, you'll see some of the art if you follow me on social media. Like I post stuff all the time. So
all right,
give you a follow on Instagram. So
yeah, definitely.
Nice.
I'll go and add you if I'm not following and everything after the show too as well.
I followed Amy on the Twitter. I haven't followed Instagram yet.
Yeah, I just
follow her on Instagram.
I'm following everybody. I'm way more active on Instagram than Twitter.
Puts all her artwork on.
Yeah, I've been trying to post on there lately, but it's like I haven't had anything that was really good enough to show.
Did you go talk to her? Did you talk to her at San Diego, Dan? Did you?
No, I didn't even. No, I was gonna ask you. It was one of the things I was thinking in my head. I was like, I should ask him if he absconded away to San Diego without her, because what
ended up happening? There were so many empty tables there.
Yeah,
I said, Amy, why don't you just go set up next to Johnny? Because at his aisle there was literally 4 tables empty.
I know.
And it
Artist Alley had a whole row of just empty tables.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I was like, I would have felt bad. I would have hated if I was in that aisle, because a lot of people just go right by it. They won't even go down there, So she helped kind of steer some traffic over there. So
that's cool.
Yes, I had enough stuff, so I was able to set up my own table. So I could see Keith. I was like two aisles away, so I could keep an eye on him.
How about you, Matt? Where can people find you? Anything you want to promote?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. That's my handle right there, MattBar6, and you can check out my stuff at my website. That's robo6.net, and that's got all kinds of stuff on there, from NFL stuff to garment design to other comic book stuff. So
very cool, man. Awesome. All right.
Yeah, I'm most active on Twitter, unfortunately. Too.
I know, right? Yeah. It's me too, and it's like probably the worst place we should be active, you know? It's just like every day there's some new nonsense with comics. I swear to God, this is such a crazy industry that we're all part of, you know?
I'm pretty lucky. I go on there and it's much better than Facebook for me. I don't have to see as much insanity on Twitter.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like Facebook is like every time I log into it, it's
angry.
Like, I can't even like.
It's like one
Really
war
It's like a
zone to the
mess.
next.
Like, where do you go? It's like, you know, it's just like there's all these places you can go and click, and it's just, I don't know, to find it a whole mess, you know. And the algorithm kind of sucks for Facebook for promoting anything. Like,
yeah,
you never.
I can't promote Goblin Girl on there.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you get reported right away.
But they don't even let the ad go up. They're just like, oh no, and it's hilarious
really?
because they're constantly taking stuff I've posted just normally on my page, and they're going, hey, this would make a great ad. You should try and promote this.
And then
I'm
try
like,
to do it, and they'll like nix it.
Yeah, I'm like, why do you keep trying to sell me in ads and stuff? You're not even willing to let me sell as an ad. Like,
oh my Lord,
just stop.
Are you able to do it on Instagram? Like, can you do it on Instagram? They won't even allow it.
Instagram's the same thing because they're both co-owned.
That's right. That's right. I forgot about that.
I have another book that's going to be a Kickstarter. That's going to start off my kind of Kickstarter stuff in January. Because I did a book with a friend of mine, and I did all the interiors and I did 2 covers for it. And then he's got like all these artists that do like Brian Pulido covers and stuff. There's like going to be like 15 or 20 variant covers for it.
Oh, cool.
But that book, he basically was able to advertise it, and I saw how he did it, and I'm like, okay, I need to get a graphic and mimic the way he did this to promote my book on Instagram.
Did he do like put the girl in shadows, or
it's like it's literally a shot. Like, here's the this is the mock version. Well, this is I did 5 copies of the second issue of this just so that I had some. Okay. But the ads more or less looks like that.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. So
it's just like a head with like a logo. And I'm like, I can get away with that. I got that I got that mouse pad image that Billy did up. I'll just put the logo in between the horns.
Yeah.
And it'll be good to
go.
So
bizarre. Like, go on Facebook, spouse your hate everywhere, but you know, oh no, can't show a pair of boobs.
Show any sort of boob or cleavage in your
animated, like it's a drawing. It's not even a photograph of a real person.
That's what I recently got on Twitter. I'm fairly new, like 6-7 months, and I am shocked that they would kick off some people. I'm not even like a trumpet. I'm not even like a red hat, but I'm just saying, like, they kick Trump off, but they have just straight porn,
hardcore
pornography.
Right.
It's like,
it's nuts.
I'm like, so do I need to put
West
like,
there?
Yeah,
I made a
couple bad
page
words, look
with
out,
a crazy sheriff in charge.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I made a second.
Yeah.
So I can promote that other book that I have coming out in January, because it's full on adult. It's not like Goblin Girl. Goblin Girl's like Elvira crossed with Lord of the Rings, basically. Right. The kind of tone of it. But this other one is just like straight adult that my friend did, or that he created and that I did the art for. But like, I set up another page because I wanted to try and promote that book and not have people that follow the Goblin Girl stuff be like, hey man, like occasionally I'm looking at your stuff and my kids are looking over my shoulder, like, what the hell? So I made a secondary page that was like an adult page that straight up says Dan Plegel, Boob Dan Art, XXX stuff or whatever on the thing.
Yeah. And
it lasted about a week, and then they took it down for obscene content.
This is Twitter?
Yes.
Really?
Oh my god.
Yes.
Really?
And what was crazy was I made it as a new account connected to my current account.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, it won't let me in to even adjust it to keep it, because
they just cut it off.
It's saying that the other account, it's saying, oh, this email is associated with another account, so you can't use this to like open it. I'm like, well, how am I going to fix this? Because it's the same email that I used to make it with.
Yeah.
So I just kind of abandoned it, and I'm like, well, I'm just going to have to keep things as clean as possible for a while.
Craziness.
As clean as Dan can make it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, hey, it was great chatting with the three of you guys tonight. I
Thanks for having
had a
us.
great time and learning about these projects and learning about you guys, in general. So definitely come back down the road. If you guys have future projects, hit me
Yeah,
up.
whenever you'll have us, man.
Yeah,
We'll be out
definitely.
here.
Hit me up.
much.
Try
We'll
to
be
hit
out
us up like a month.
collecting
nice.
cards.
Nice. Did you like the cards, by the way?
I love the cards, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
I even found out that I can kind of open the wax pack and reseal it. So
Yeah, right.
I was like, this is my.
Did you actually, speaking of that, before we wrap this up, did you reach out to Sidekick Labs?
I have not reached out to them yet.
Okay, if you do it, start. He only runs those presses like, Amy, what was it, like twice a year or something?
Yeah. It's not a super regular thing. I think it's a very involved process for him. So he fires them up and.
Yeah, you should hit him
I'm
up
gonna
and
have to
see
get a
when
hold
he's
of him
going to
'cause
run the
I have-
press again.
Yeah, I have most of the art for that. We have to fix the layout for him and then make the cover
Is it part of
graphic.
this campaign, or is it going to be for a different one?
It's supposed to be part of this campaign. It's actually Matt's art. Actually, it's going to be.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd say at least reach out now and find out when he's going to do another run.
Alrighty, I'll
you may
message
already
him.
be behind the 8-ball a little bit, depending on when he's going to do it. Because it was funny when I did those. I literally hit him up, and he was running the press within 2 days. So I had to scramble to get everything in place, and I barely made it, but I did it just so I can get in on that print run, because he wasn't going to do it again for like another 6 months, So, but yeah, hit him up.
Great.
And stay on top of him because he's horrible at getting back to people too. So, I mean, like there was after I got this, he sent me the wax packs, and literally I didn't get an invoice, and I'm like, I guess these are free, and then but it was like. I got an invoice 3 months later. I was like,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it was crazy. I don't know what's going on with that guy, but
Keith, just remember, nothing is free.
I know, but it was for a while I thought it was.
Yeah, but I one time, one of my friends bought some books from Keith, and something happened with the order, so $12 showed up in his account, and he's like, "Hey, free money!" And then my friend is like, "Hey, did your husband get the order for my books?"
Yeah, I never got the email saying she had an order there, so I was like, "Hey, someone just
sent me $12."
$12."
He's gonna pull up to your house one day with a road rage victim that he pulled
in
the back of his trunk. He's be like, "You remember those wax packs?
Yeah, exactly.
This friend, this is you. You take care of this. I took care of you.
Yeah.
Now you take care of me."
Exactly. But all right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us again for another episode of Indie Comics Relay. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another live show.
Awesome.
Back Goblin Girl, back Rock and Roll Ninja,
Yes.
and follow these guys on social media. So check them all out. Any last words before we close out this episode?
Not much. It's just been a good time. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
And my friends here.
Happy holidays.
Cohorts.
Yeah,
All
happy
right.
holidays for sure.
Yeah, happy holidays. And all right, have a good night, everybody. And we'll talk to you again soon.